Welcome back as we continue our journey through the season of Lent together. I appreciate so much your presence as we do this. We're looking today at probably the most familiar passage of Scripture from the Old Testament. That's Psalm 23. You're going to hear somebody read it at church this coming Sunday. Let me read it to you now, and you can quote along with me. You know this one by heart. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures and leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul and guides me along the right pathways for his name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they are my comfort. You spread a table before me in the presence of those who trouble me. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup is running over. Surely your goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. As Jesus makes his way toward Jerusalem and the finality of the cross, this shadow of death hangs over all that he does and says and teaches. As we make our way through life, we occasionally see the same shadow. We suffer loss and heartache. It is inevitable. If we're here long enough, we will lose someone who is irreplaceable and whose loss breaks our hearts. I was watching the news on television this past week, and they were talking about the increased number of flu-related deaths this winter and how it's been an especially difficult strain. And we've been reading about the coronavirus and the deaths related to that, but the traditional flu has risen the death rate as well. There was a mother interviewed. Her 16-year-old daughter contracted the flu. Beautiful young high school girl with her whole life out in front of her, and she died. The mother, in tears, was talking about the experience and about how important it is to receive the vaccine and get prompt medical attention and all the predictable things that are so very true. But then she made this remark: at the moment, we are struggling to find our way through the darkness. The 23rd Psalm speaks to people who are struggling to find their way through the darkness. And it says a couple of things. First of all, there is a promise to those who die. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, the reality of death, the finality. And then a little further down the psalm, what do we read? Surely your goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of this life, and then I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That mother's heart is broken. You don't get over something like that quickly. But there is at least this promise made about her child. What to us seems like the end is for her daughter a new beginning. What we call death, Jesus called homecoming. In my Father's home are many rooms. This psalm makes a promise to those who experience death. It is not the end of you. The end of life here is the beginning of a better life there, which has no end. But there's also a promise in Psalm 23 for those who grieve, for those who stand beside graves and you feel the life has been taken out of you and you weep bitter tears. What is that promise? Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Through is about as important a word as we are likely to experience when we read this psalm. It tells us that we are not led into an experience of grief and mourning to be trapped there forever. We are instead led through it. The darkness may be oh so dark. The pathway may be oh so long. but we will not live forever in the valley of the shadow of a broken heart. God will eventually get us through it. But until we come out into sunlight on the other side, there's an additional promise. I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Whatever you face, whatever you lose, however you grieve, however you mourn, you are never alone. I will fear no evil, for you are with me, and you will get me through.